All right, there's some trade rumors going out there, and I dropped the article links in the description. Way too early trade rumors that Pistons have interest in Frank Ntilikina. So I know I butchered his name from the Knicks. He from France, 6'6". Pretty much been a lost cause so far. He only 21. And guard Kyle Lowry. Okay, Kyle Lowry just signed a $31 million extension. He on the hook for 2 years, around $64 million. But they saying that extension can make him even more expendable in Toronto, especially if they get off to a slow start. Once again, I'll drop both of those links in the description under article links so you can check it out for yourself. But let's start off with the Frank Ntilikina guy from France. I'm a guy that had a lot of potential, watched him work out before and after he got drafted by the Knicks. Long arms, but just ain't been able to find his way through the league. And, people kind of give foreign players a bad stamp, you know what I'm saying? Because, he might be soft or he ran translate, but just as many American-born players flop in the league as foreign-born players. I thought Julius Hodge, I think he was out of NC State, was going to be a decent pro. He went in the first round, and I don't even remember seeing him touch the court in the NBA, and he flaked out. So, he young, he 21 years of age. Has the league ruined him? You seen guys like Emmanuel Mudiay, Trey Burke jump him for the Knicks, and a few other guards jump him. But Mike Valenti was saying on 97 won a ticket, he was talking to somebody in the Knicks organization, and one of the employees said he's a lost cause for the Knicks. So, but Dwayne Casey calling card is supposed to be developing young guys. But really, I haven't seen a lot of promising things from him, but he got potential. At the end of the day, Reggie Jackson, he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? And we know he can't cut the butter here in Detroit. Now, Frank, I think, he may never be as good as Reggie Jackson. That might be a huge, huge fact. But his potential is what attract people. The rookie they got, Saeku, his potential. And Frank is 6'6", long guy. He could play several positions if he, put a little weight on. He could play a 3. He could play the 2. He could play the 1. And with his length and his height, he can at least be a defensive stopper. So if you can get something out of him defensively and he can just get a consistent 3-pointer, then maybe you got something. But you wouldn't trade a lot to get this kid, but maybe he needed to change the scenery. Maybe New York was too much for him, and New York is a dumpster fire right now from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? They got a little bit of stability in the front office, but then James Dolan is probably one of the worst owners in sports. So maybe a change of scenery, a different franchise might help him. The Pistons seem to have a good locker room with a lot of good vets, from Joe Johnson to Blake Griffin to Drummond to Derrick Rose. So, maybe a change of scenery, maybe he'd grow, but he got a lot of potential. Just looking at his height and his length and his athletic ability, he could be a great defensive stopper in this league. And if you can get some good defense out of him, he could be a good 3-and-D guy. He can be of help. But at the end of the day, I don't think he going to drastically change life in Detroit as far as what Chauncey or what, Ben Wallace or Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, or even the impact a guy like Dennis Rodman, Rick Mahorn, Mark Aguirre, somebody like that had on the Pistons. But at the end of the day, you want to have good depth. And he a guy with a high ceiling. You know what? And he may never reach his ceiling, but if you can develop him into a good 3-and-D guy, then I think he becomes a huge asset for you. But them looking at him makes you wonder what they think about a Luke Kennard, what they think about a Bruce Brown, what they think about Kyrie Thomas. You know what I'm saying? So, if they really thinking about bringing this Frank Cantina guy, hopefully I'm saying, I know I'm butchering his name, they think about bringing him on to the team, then you wonder what they really think about Thomas and Kennard. And really, I think the writing would be on the wall for like a Thomas or a Kennard on this team. But hey, it is what it is. But Kyle Lowry, he a good regular season guy. He gonna be an all-star. He gonna have problems defending. He's kind of like the opposite physically wise of Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson is a big, strong, physical kid, long, inconsistent, but Lowry is a better player. But Reggie Jackson is a more physical, imposing player, but Lowry is a better shooter, more consistent. He's getting older, but at the end of the day, the Pistons want to win games. Lowry can win games for you, but you're going to have some defense behind them. They had Ibaka, Gasol, Kawhi, Pascal Siakam. Thing about Kyle Lowry is he ain't no defensive stopper. And you need to have guys that can clean up the defense behind him. And, he going to hurt the defense, but he'll help your offense, and he going to bring a winning attitude. He can facilitate. He can make open threes. He brings shooting to the team. But to me, his salary this year is like $34 million. So Reggie Jackson takes up $18 million right there. So you're going to need another $15 million, whatever it is, just to match his salary. So really you're looking at the expiring contract of Reggie Jackson. And then you probably looking at Tony Snell, I think, on the book for $10 million. And then you're looking at a Luke Kennard on the book for about $4 or $5 million. So you're looking to trade 3 players for one, and then he's an Asian guy. And I think Kyle Lowry will be a better fit for a team that's on the cusp of a championship. Maybe a Milwaukee. I know they got Eric Bledsoe. I'm just saying. Maybe a team like Milwaukee. Maybe a team like the Philadelphia 76ers. Maybe a team like the Lakers. I'm just throwing potential teams out there. He kind of like a team that should be on a player that should be on a championship winning team, but he definitely can help. But at that point, the Pistons, will be compromising depth, and they'll be compromising their cap. But would they trade Drummond up there for Kyle Lowry, which I think would then again, you still have to trade multiple players, because then you're going to need a big guy back. You can't just count on Christian Woods to man the middle. So then you would want Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka back in return. So, quite frankly, if the Toronto, according to Zach Lowe, get off to a slow start, which I don't imagine they will, then Kyle Lowry could be a candidate for the Pistons, even signing that extension. And they said that the Heat and a few other teams out there. But, quite frankly, Reggie Jackson ain't going to be in trade rumors all day. If they get Andre Drummond a max contract, supermax contract, his name won't be in trade rumors no more. But if they don't give it to him, the longer they go without extending him to the trade deadline, his name would be in trade rumors. So at the end of the day, the Pistons got a lot of assets to play with. This is a very critical time for the franchise, because if they do nothing, they got a clean book. They don't have to do nothing. Only major contract they have on the books is Blake Griffin. If they make stupid trades, or make stupid signings, then they can set themselves back another decade. So they're at the point where if they make some good trades, they get some good players back. They got some expiring contracts, because Drummond gonna opt out. Reggie Jackson to be done. They got an attractive player in Luke Kennard who can shoot and got a lot of potential. So they can really make over the team. And then it's nothing to move Blake Griffin after this year if they want to move Blake Griffin and start over. So it's interesting to see where they go. And I think a lot of this is going to be predicated on how they start. If they have a strong start, then I think they probably make a few trades, 2 minor trades or major trades. If they have a terrible start where they have, lose 15 games again in a row or something like that, then you might see a fire sale at some point. So it really depends, where they at. But quite frankly, I like to see the team stay intact, see what they got for the first few months of the season. Come January, February trade deadline, see where we at. And if we not, we looking to have an 8th seed again or 7th, or maybe not make the playoffs, then maybe you have a fire sale. Maybe you move Dre, maybe you move Reggie, maybe you move Blake after the year, and then you move on, and then you start off from scratch. But if you're looking good, you 6th, 5th, 4th in the East, 3rd in the East, then maybe you make trades to upgrade. Maybe you look at Reggie and say, you ain't in long-term plans, we'll ship you in a couple other pieces for Kyle Lowry, or we ship you for somebody else. So a lot of this is going to be predicated on how they look in the first few months of the season. The Frank Kayina guy, he'd just be another developmental guy. That means they don't believe in Bruce, Kyrie, or Kennard. One of the three they don't really believe in to develop into something, and they have a second thought. So if they really is interested in him, it is what it is. But I'll link those article links in the description. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you got business, question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support, man, for real. And y'all know what it is. One time for the one time. Don't forget to check my other channel out, Goodfellas Sports TV, for more NBA, music, sports, entertainment, NFL, and much, much more. Want to make a donation? The link subscription. Best way to donate is to share the videos. Motor City Sports Talk, your boy CJ Goodfellow.